Hey, Eric.
Hey, John.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. That's right.
We are recording this on January 1st,
Which is a new year.
2025. Um, yeah. Hey,
I'm
welcome
trying
to
to think.
2025.
Was it 2017 when we were wandering, thinking about we should do a podcast?
I don't remember. We'd have to look.
It was a long time
I
ago at this
I
point.
did renew my Tualatin Valley Beekeepers annual membership this morning, and I noticed
Okay.
in my profile that it said I started keeping bees in 2018. And I know that we started the
Mm,
podcast not long before I started keeping bees. So
yeah.
it's sometime around there. But,
Yep.
funny thing, kind of funny,
Mm.
I guess. So, New Year's Eve dinner conversation at our house. And my wife was like, "Can you believe it's been 25 years since the Y2K bug?" You know, because I clearly remember sort of, waiting at home. Actually, we were babysitting some friends' kids who they went out to a party, and we did not because we do not. And my my boys were like, "What is? I've heard of Y2K, like, but what was it?" And I was
Mm.
like, "Oh, well, let me tell you." Anyway, so it was. I don't know. That was just kind of it's A. It's hard to believe it's been 25 years, and B. Um, you know, so much work, so much money went into trying to make that a non-event that when it was a non-event, people thought, oh,
Not a big
people
deal.
had made a big deal about nothing. When
Yeah.
in reality, in my 4 cents worth of opinion, it was a non-event because of the years of preparation and all the work that
Yeah.
went into it. And
I think I saw a bunch of commentary online as well along those
yeah,
in that bucket of things that were discussed.
yeah.
Yes.
But my
So,
kids were like, "What?" Because of course they were both born after that,
right.
and you know, hard to
Mm.
believe. Hard to believe. Hard to believe it's been so long. It's been so long. 25 years ago. That's crazy. Okay. Anyway, enough about that. Old man yells at cloud. So, I I don't know. We did manage to stay awake last night until the midnight, but when 5 minutes to midnight, I went to try and find the ball dropping somewhere. I don't have live TV in my basement anywhere. I have an
Right.
antenna going to a TV upstairs, but I haven't
Hmm.
tried setting up the tableaus again now that I've got good internet. Um,
Uh,
and so, you know, I just don't watch much TV. But I have like
well,
every streaming service known to man. So I was like going to Peacock, going to CBS. I'm like, come on, there used to be like a live TV and they all wanted my TV provider. And I'm like,
Amazon
I
Prime
have no TV
had
provider.
one. We watched the one
I
on
didn't even
Amazon
try Amazon
Prime,
Prime.
and there was one on HBO or Max. There were two. So those were the two we saw.
I
One
didn't
was
even
ABC
think of
News,
trying.
and one was CNN. I don't remember which was which.
Hmm.
So those were
Anyway,
what we kind of watched.
my son was like 10, 9. I'm like, I still don't have the anyway. So I was completely unprepared. So it was like, well, okay, there we go.
Yeah,
It's now
something
2025,
happened.
and it's okay. Who needs to see a crystal ball drop anyway?
You seen
Especially
one
since it
crystal ball
happened
drop, you seen them
3
all.
hours earlier.
Yeah, yeah. That's usually when we watch. Is we watch the live New York feed, call it good, and then go to
It's
bed.
9 o'clock and bedtime.
I'm
Anyway,
good. I have
yeah.
seen what I need to see.
So, well, anyway, I feel like this week has gone very fast. I've enjoyed the week off, but I have gotten like I guess I got my minimum required items that I kind of had a list of stuff I needed to do. I got that done, but I've gotten like
Yeah.
I expected to get more done than I did, and I'm going back to work tomorrow, and my list. I guess that, like I said, that list is checked off, but boy, I thought I'd get a lot more done.
My week was all sorts of one-off project, so probably a lot like what you did. Although mine was more indoors and painting and I'm still painting.
You're still
Yes.
painting.
And I'm painting new things
Oh,
now
okay.
and patching holes in ceilings. So in the basement, there's a section back in a corner, which we never look at the ceiling back in that corner. Some reason my wife happened to be looking at back in that corner at the ceiling, and there was like a stain, like water
Water
had
stain?
seeped through.
Uh-oh.
And so I'm like, oh, because we there's a whole other issue with our back door
You mentioned last
has been
week that
leaking,
you were having
and I
to
was a
get
little,
dry rot estimate or something.
yeah. So we're getting an estimate. And the guy came over. He's very nice, and so but in the ceiling of the basement is not too far from where the back door is, and so I'm kind of now grumpy,
Mm-hmm.
and so I cut a hole in the ceiling to feel like not a very big one, just kind of big enough so I can stick my finger in there and feel around, and it's bone dry. So this probably happened back when we remodeled the kitchen, and lots of things
Uh-huh.
happened as they remodeled the kitchen. They were running new pipes, and so I'm sure this happened like
A couple of years ago.
a cup of water spilled through the floor of the, because it's right also near one of the vents
Mm.
in the, anyways. So that's my guess is that what happened because it was like bone dry, not even squishy. It was, so I patched the hole. And then, of course, now that I patched the hole and it's in a piece of the ceiling, which I don't think, since it's in the basement, I don't think they did anything other than primer,
Okay.
you
Oh,
know? And so, how do you match 30-year-old primer paint?
uh-oh.
You end up painting the entire
I was
ceiling.
gonna say,
So,
where do you stop? You stop at a corner. Where's the corners of the ceilings? The walls.
pretty much. So, yeah. So,
You should use your artistic sense and like blend it in. Fade gently.
yeah. That's what I did in another spot. Because now once I'm staring at the ceiling here, I'm looking at all the other areas, and there were a couple other spots in the ceiling where clearly something had happened, and I'm like poking holes in the ceiling again. Nope, bone dry. So this must have happened a long time ago too, and we just never noticed. But once you see it, you can't not see it anymore. Anyways,
Fun, fun, fun.
hey, so I saw you through the Parker Solar Probe
Well, I
article
was curious.
in our follow up. So our something fun follow up. Apparently, the operations teams at NASA have confirmed that the Parker Solar Probe survived its record-breaking closest approach to the surface of the sun
Yep,
on
they got the
New
tone.
Year's Eve. Yes. So we'll see how that continues. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they got the NASA article said they got the tone, but it's still too close. They have to wait a few more days before they'll be able to do a data link and download the data that was collected during the pass.
Right.
So, but I was curious because I mean, my recollection was last time you were like, it's there, and they would get the tone on December 27th or something like that. So it said.
Yeah. All right.
Hit me up.
So my topic I thought was very interesting. I got it from Zach Whitaker's newsletter, but it was all in German
Oh.
because it's Volkswagen. But never fear, Google Translate to the rescue on an entire web page.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the article is about Volkswagen. We talked about Volkswagen before. They've had
a
interesting
few
issues.
Yep.
And this one also was of interest to me because I have been looking at the new electric Volkswagen VW bus. Have you seen the all electric? I think it's this
No.
ID4 Buzz. Is that what it's called? Yes, it's called the Volkswagen 2025 Volkswagen ID Buzz, and it just looks kind of cool. As for it's a minivan, it's a bus. You remember the old classic Volkswagen
my wife
buses
loves
from
the look of those old Volkswagen
70s
buses
or whatever they are, 60s and 70s. So they're trying to bring it back with a kind of modernized style, similar to what they redid with the VW Bugs a number of years ago. Anyways, so as I was looking at that, I stumbled across this article also from, like as I mentioned, it's all in German, but it's called, the title is We Know Where Your Car Is. And so Volkswagen, unfortunately, their current 800,000 electric cars, all of the movement data, aka live location data, and contact information was exposed unprotected on the internet. So
My
you
gracious
could
sakes.
see where these and it's German,
Bucket permissions for the win.
and it's in Germany. So a lot of the article is
Oh,
about who was parked at what home, at the BND, which I think is the German equivalent to the FBI or CIA or
oh,
um,
oh.
NSA. One of the,
Uh
like,
huh.
a
A three-letter agency.
a three-letter agency, yes. Or it says in front of the brothel and when. So I'm not sure what the actual German word is, but that's what Google translated. It translated to brothel. Anyways, so there was
Oh my.
a woman who started driving her new VW ID3 and downloaded the Volkswagen app so she can preheat the car, read the battery charge, check the current range, all that kind of stuff that makes,
I use the
the
app
app
for my car all the time.
very useful. And there was another, and the thing about these folks that they were doing this is they are members of, I think, the parliament, a member of the defense committee and state secretary to the defense ministry until 2018. The two folks that the Chaos Computer Club and Spiegel, which is the magazine or news organization that did the research, the Chaos Computer Club, also in Germany, they got permission from these two politicians to go have the reporters examine their cars' data records so that they could show them what was going on. So they had permission to do it. And all of this data fully publicly accessible, um, clearly on an unprotected Amazon cloud storage system. So some S3 bucket somewhere.
Bucket permissions.
Yeah. It's all software. And of course, VW didn't do it. They contracted out to a third party that had built the software for them and,
Of course.
was leveraging
Of course.
everything. One of the comments from one of the politicians was, the IT competence of the manufacturers clearly needs to improve significantly. I wonder if the German, it was a little bit more exciting in the native German. But Hamburg police and their electric patrol cars were visible.
Oof.
So the article it's a really long article with a bunch of other stuff. It does have some other comments about, VW is not the only car manufacturer that has security problems, and it gives some examples of other folks of BMW, Mercedes-Benz, other companies out that have a German origin. So it was topical for me just because I was kind of staring at that bus and just kind of saying, that looks like a lot of fun. Although, what do I need
I was going to say,
a minivan for?
what are you going to do? What are you going to do
But
with the Volkswagen bus?
I don't know.
But
It'd be fun to drive.
I guess it's anything you want. Anything you want.
There you go.
Um,
Anyways, so there's my article.
I still okay. That's a nice find.
If
Nice
you can
find.
translate from German.
I still think about, if you had all the money in the world, my wife's favorite car is still the Volkswagen Karmann Ghia. And remember, I think I might have been my something fun like years ago. There's a company in California that will like retrofit electric motors, and they've done Karmann Ghias, and I'm pretty sure they've done Volkswagen buses. And I mean, it's not at all cost effective. Like that's not.
No.
It's a don't bother asking how much it costs kind of thing. But
Yeah.
but the no
If you
no
have
no,
to ask,
no
you can't afford it.
yeah, but but like the look of those old VW buses is really, it's very classic, very classic. I don't know. I'm
The
sure.
new ones are actually kind of cool too. I mean,
Have you seen them in person?
no, I want to go look at one in person, but here's the thing about one of them. Like, you remember in the old Office, there was the electrostatic touch windows, so you can
Yes.
frost the windows or not. This VW bus has that in them,
Oh, that's cool.
so you can frost the windows. Or that just sounds very expensive, but kind of fun.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty
Anyways,
crazy. Okay. Well,
anyways.
pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, something completely different, but Chrome extensions.
Mm-hmm.
This is a cybersecurity startup who had their Google account hacked on Christmas Day, and somebody
Oops.
published a malicious Chrome extension to the Google Play Store. Is it
Mm-hmm.
Google Play? That the Chrome store, and uh, did not say how many people downloaded, but I mean, Chrome extensions roll out pretty quickly.
And
Auto
you
auto
probably
updating.
have auto update set.
Yeah,
You're probably
yeah,
not clicking update my
yeah. No,
stuff.
no, 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 no. They're automatically updated, but the a Chrome extension like that has access to potentially the things like the authenticated like session tokens, cookies that
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it would have necessarily access to saved passwords. I'm not sure about that, but and can exfiltrate them to the attacker's domain. So the fact that this is a cybersecurity startup for businesses, an enterprise startup, is kind of just a little bit of salt in the wound, so to speak. So it says an email from the company said the hackers compromised a company account to publish a malicious update to its Chrome extension in the early morning of December 25th. For customers running the compromised browser extension, it's possible for sensitive information, including authenticated sessions and cookies, to be exfiltrated to the attacker's domain. They declined to say how many affected customers it had notified, but the company, it says the California-based company, lists technology giants Motorola, Reddit, and Snowflake as customers, as well as law firms and health insurance giants. It's a data loss prevention startup called Cyberhaven. Um, yeah, like there weren't any tough details in the article about whether or not the like how the Google account was compromised, whether it had two-factor authentication enabled
Right.
or not, but presumably not. Anyway, it said according to the email, Cyberhaven said that affected users should, quote, revoke and rotate all passwords and other text based credentials, such as API tokens. Customers should also review their own logs for malicious activity. And I guess this is the explanation for why session tokens matter, but because a valid token can be used to log into that account without needing the password or a two-factor code,
Right.
effectively bypassing
Right. Right.
authentication, like so long as the token's valid.
Still valid. Yeah.
It says that the email does not specify whether customers should also change any credentials for other accounts stored in the Chrome browser. And that's where I was like, I don't know enough about the
Hmm.
extension API to know whether you can actually get access to local files. I wouldn't think so, but I'm not a Chrome extension developer. So, but then the other thing, kind of the exacerbating info, is that there's another security researcher, says Jamie Blasco, the co-founder and CTO of Nudge Security, said in posts on X that several other Chrome extensions were compromised as apparently part of the same campaign, including several extensions with tens of thousands of users. They didn't say which those were.
I'm assuming since they're Chrome extensions, it's not Windows versus Mac, it's if you're running Chrome and you're running one of these extensions, you you might be on the list.
Chrome extensions are OS agnostic or OS independent. Yeah. Let's see. Final thing about that. Uh, Blasco told TechCrunch he is still investigating the attacks and believes at this point there were more extensions compromised earlier this year, including some related to AI productivity and VPNs. It seems it wasn't targeted against Cyberhaven, but rather opportunistically targeting extension developers. I think they went after the extensions that they could based on the developers' credentials they had. So presumably a password
There was
dump
a leak
or
somewhere. Yeah.
I guess I'm shocked. Well, yeah, you'd have to know. I would expect Google's authentication API to not allow you to spam it with repeated invalid credentials, just doing
Right.
guessing. But if you've actually got a credential dump that associates an account with a credential, and you don't have two-factor authentication enabled, there you go. So.
All right.
So it's sort of a supply chain attack in the sense that, installation less software, automatically updating via Chrome updates means you can be compromised without any action on your part.
Mm-hmm.
Not that that's different from most software that has auto updates, but there you go.
Yeah.
A probably growing vector.
All right. My something fun.
How about something fun?
So we've talked about nuclear reactors and nuclear different things in the nuclear area in the past. I'm pretty sure we talked about a reactor that uses salt instead of some type of water or liquid. I don't remember I don't remember exactly what it was, but anyway.
I remember the liquid sodium. Remember on the solar, where they do the solar concentrators, and that it pushes all the
the salt batteries.
Yeah, well, my recollection is it used liquid sodium as kind of transporting all the heat that was generated and then storing the heat.
That's right.
For anyway, I don't know if that's the same. There might be something also with nuclear.
Yeah.
But that's the sodium that comes to my mind is the solar concentration arrays.
Anyway, so this one caught my eye. Apparently, China is going to start building a demonstration thorium-based molten salt reactor in the Gobi Desert.
Oh.
Now, thorium is a slightly radioactive metal. So thorium is the atomic number 90, symbol of TH. It was discovered in 1828 and named after Thor, the Norse god of thunder. Anyways, there's a lot of uses for thorium, and China is going to build a 10 megawatt reactor to see if they can use that. And one of the things that they do is it takes the thorium-232, which is much more abundant than uranium-235, but it's not directly fissile. So it can't undergo fission.
Okay.
So it has to be transformed into fissile uranium-233 first, which apparently is possible, but whether or not it's economical and practical is less clear, according to this article.
Uh-huh.
A nuclear scientist at MIT, Charles Forsberg, says that molten salt breeder reactors are the most viable designs for thorium fuel. So the thorium fluoride dissolves in molten salt at the reactor's core, and it turns thorium-232 into fuel and is irradiated to thorium-233, which decays into an intermediate protactinium 233, and then into uranium-233, which then becomes fissile. So one of the big challenges that they show here is when you transform thorium to uranium-233, it becomes directly usable in nuclear weapons. So that's one of the concerns. Edwin Lyman, the director of nuclear power safety at the Union of Concerned Scientists. It's a quality comparable to separated plutonium and therefore very dangerous. So there you go. China is going to build a nuclear reactor that takes something a little bit more abundant than uranium and turns it into uranium. That was the kicker here is the China can source all of this thorium, not just because it's much more available, it's a waste product of China's huge rare earth mining industry. So they could use
Oh.
the waste product.
Oh.
So they pretty much have, essentially an
Interesting.
inexhaustible supply of thorium
I see.
to play around with. So
Interesting.
we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
What should we do with this chicken byproduct meal? Let's make dog food.
That's right.
Oh, wait.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. There you go.
Oh, interesting.
More interesting article than I gave it, but
Interesting.
we'll add the link to the
Okay.
podcast. Good stuff. All right.
Huh. Okay. My something fun. I think I've done this I guess I didn't look back. I know I did it last year.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've done it more than that. It's it's the day that stuff enters the public domain.
Yeah.
Public domain day today.
I saw Popeye, early Popeye.
Early Popeye. Yep. Although, okay, so the link I'm going to put in here is to web.law.duke.edu, so Duke University.
Mm-hmm.
There's underneath the Popeye portion, there was some dispute as to whether or not the copyright for Popeye had actually been renewed, and in which case it might actually technically have been in the public domain for a long time. But so there's some investigation on it. Anyway, but regardless, the earliest Popeye is now in the public domain. So it's basically stuff that, for the most part, stuff that was created in 1929. Mm-hmm. So lots, not as big a splash as last year with Steamboat Willie coming into the public domain. But among books, there's William Faulkner, Ernest Hemingway, Virginia Woolf, books by all three of famous authors there. There's the Maltese Falcon as serialized in Black Mask magazine, which I don't know which that is, but there's a link there. John Steinbeck's first novel, Cup of Gold, the English translation of All Quiet on the Western Front, and Agatha Christie novel are all kind of among the books. Those are the names that I recognized, at least of the stuff that was there to pull out. Among films, there's it says a dozen more Mickey Mouse animations, including Mickey's first talking appearance in The Carnival Kid. There's the Marx Brothers' first feature film, The Cocoa Knots. There's the best picture of 2029 was evidently a video called The Broadway Melody. And then evidently the song Singing in the Rain, there was like a 1950s movie that is what we probably all know it from, but the song actually came from 1929 and was in a movie in 1929, the Hollywood Review of 1929. Anyway, let's see. I pulled out two other ones here. There's an Alfred Hitchcock movie. Hitchcock's first sound film was called Blackmail. And then a Walt Disney directed animation called The Skeleton Dance, which was the first silly symphony short from Disney. So kind of cool. And then, like you said, Popeye and then Tintin are characters that are now their first strips are at least available. But there was, let's see, in 2025, this is a little bit about the whole Popeye thing. In 2025, copyright expires over more aspects of Mickey from his 1929 incarnations, along with the initial versions of Popeye and Tintin. As with Pooh and Mickey, it's the original versions of Popeye and Tintin that are public domain because it's by year. Popeye
Right.
1.0 had superhuman capabilities, but he did not derive them from eating spinach yet. So you can't show him eating spinach, I guess, because that came in 1931.
Okay.
And then here's the sentence I sort of referred to it earlier. It says, however, it appears that the copyright in this 1931 comic strip was not renewed. If this is true, Popeye's spinach fueled strength is already in the public domain. You can read more details about this below. Fun fact: olive oil actually dates from 1919 and has long been in the public domain. Before Popeye, her boyfriend was named Ham Gravy. So I don't know. Like, I did not know that,
Ham
but
gravy. Uh,
anyway, it's a
Good
public
stuff.
domain day. So
I had
yay.
forgotten about that, but I know you've done this a few times.
Um,
Good stuff. Good stuff.
yep, always happy. It's a bummer that it's like 95 years or whatever that is,
Yeah.
but it is what it is.
Alrighty.
All right, my friend. Welcome to 2025. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We'll chat with you next week.
Bye, Eric.
Later.